This podcast is for informational and educational purposes only and should not be construed as investment, tax, or legal advice. Any examples or frameworks discussed are general in nature and may not be suitable for all investors. All investing involves risk, including the possible loss of principal. Past experiences and planning approaches do not guarantee future results. Today we're talking about an estate planning document that probably no one has, but it's incredibly important. And not only that, an attorney will not draft it for you. It's an instruction manual. When you have a trust, will, durable power of attorney, guardianship documents, that's all well and good, and you should have that, and they hold legal weight. But having an instruction manual on what to do when you can no longer tell your spouse or your kids what to do, that's incredibly important. And almost no one has this. So I'm going to walk you through what I do. It's a document that I affectionately call What to Do If Roy Dies, and it's designed to help my wife if that moment comes when we're not expecting it. So every year, the day after Valentine's Day, because I'm so romantic, I update this document. And in the document, I've got just a few sections to help keep things organized for my wife and to make it a little bit easier for her if this moment comes. It's got an assets and liabilities index. It's got a list of passwords, or at least how to access the passwords, account numbers, contact details for people that she may need to get a hold of, contact deals for my clients, and probably most importantly, instructions on what steps to take for the various assets that we have. I also remind her to contact our estate planning attorney first and to keep my device active so that she can get access to all of the things that she needs. If she lost my phone, that would be a huge problem. So the first thing that I list is the assets and liabilities index. That's just a list of what we own and what we owe. Pretty simple. It's not like a balance sheet. I'm not accounting for values in there. It's just a list so she could check off everything to make sure that she hasn't missed anything. So the things on the list are bank accounts, closely held business, retirement accounts, brokerage accounts, real estate, some other assets like crypto, but that could be different for everyone. Could be art, jewelry, anything that you own that has value, credit cards, and then life insurance policies. After that, this is where the real meat of the document is. This is the instructions section. This is where I lay out what to do for every single asset that I just listed and what to do, who to contact, and anything special that she needs to account for all of these. Now, some of them are relatively simple, like the bank accounts, brokerage accounts. Some of them would just naturally flow through to her. She would have the ownership, be very simple. Things get a little trickier, though, when it comes to real estate and closely held businesses. So for real estate, I mean, we have investments in private funds, so we don't actually manage them. And it's just a matter of telling the fund manager, listen, Roy died and we need to change the title, but she doesn't have any management responsibility. We do have one that requires a little bit of extra management, but that is something that is completely outlined in the instructions. That's precisely what it's for. Now with my investment advisory business, that's where things can get really complicated. So I have a list of vendors in there, who to contact, what to keep going. I have my continuity partner listed in there, and that's the firm that would buy out my firm in the event that I was permanently disabled or that I died. And it's just a way for her to keep track of what's going on and who to contact and make what's probably going to be the most difficult situation of her life just a little bit easier. So after I list out the instructions for all these different assets, the reality is she needs to be able to have access to things. So having it organized by account number, where to go, how to access it with the credentials, that's an important piece because there's no way she's going to remember it all. No one would be able to. It's just too many things to keep track of. And when you're in crisis mode, it makes it even harder to do something like this. So everything's listed out there. Personally, I keep this document digital, but I don't put any passwords or account numbers in there. I write them in afterwards, or at least how to access them so that the security risk is at least insulated from digital. Obviously, someone could get a hold of the physical copy, but they would have to be at the place where this document is kept. And then finally, I have contact lists. So one list is for people that are going to be able to help her. And then the other list is for people who are clients of my advisory business who would need to know that I'm no longer alive. And that's pretty simple, their phone number, their email address, what their relationship is to me. So think like real estate agent, tax professional, even things like IT professionals, asset managers, continuity partners, things like that. And then once this document was created, like I said, you just have to have an annual maintenance checklist. Or if you know something significant has changed, then you change it at that moment. But this makes sure that it stays reasonably fresh and that, if something unfortunate happens, it's probably not going to happen at a convenient time. So having it as up to date as possible and having that reminder is essential so that it's not confusing to the person. Imagine if you did make this document, but the information was inaccurate, then they have no way of knowing which information is correct and which is not. So keeping it up to date is critical. It might even be worse to have an incorrect document than to just not have any document at all when you isolate just that variable. So if you made it all the way through this, you might be asking yourself, okay, well, how do I get started with this? I have a template on my website. You can simply text message me. It's 805-849-3533. I will send you the link to it. And it is meant to be as open-ended as possible because everyone's situation is different. And I want someone to be able to build this in exactly the way that they want to, but at least they have a starting framework and then they can just build around that skeleton. So again, if it's something that you want, just message me and I'll send you the link. 805-849-3533. Thanks for listening.